Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared, and we're going to be going through the YouTube trailer of Squadron 42, and we're going to be giving you our thoughts and actually sharing some of the stuff that we find interesting in the video. There's been a lot of reactions to this video, but we want to actually show you what it kind of means and some of the tech and stuff like that. So there's going to be a little different spin on what other people have been doing. Algared, is there anything you want to say before we kick it off?
Nope.
All right.
From drool.
We will be stopping a lot, though, with this one as well, so yeah. All right, let's kick it off.
Archangel 6, come in.
Go for 6.
I'm getting a faint contact on bearing 287. You picking that up?
Yeah, got it. Scanning now.
All right, so the Vega system. Algared, coming out of the Vega system. Why is this important?
Vega system is where Squadron 42 basically kicks off.
Mm-hmm.
It is, we have the Vandal attack of Vega 2, I think it is, which a couple of years ago, and that was huge. It's also where Admiral Bishop basically boots them out of Vega. So we get a first human victory. Vega is also has the jump point to systems that we've previously lost to the Vandal. So it's kind of a front line against the Vandal. So,
and we suspect there's a jump point from Vega to Earth.
And there's probably a jump point from Vega to Earth or one of the other systems to Earth,
because if you
which
go
will result in Earth getting smashed.
Yeah, if you go look at there's very noticeably something missing between Sol and Vega. I'm just gonna go forward a little bit more here, Algared.
Very clear. Commercial vessel out of Vega 3. Provided that civilian traffic is restricted under lockdown.
Okay, F7A. So this is the military version of the Super Hornet or Hornet that we have. It was only ever once sold as a skin, and it's technically like a virtual skin kit. I don't know how to explain that, like a 3D skin. So you can actually get this. It was originally sold for one day on Veterans Day for $18, and now
$20. It was actually $20.
Well, I remember it at 18, but whatever. And basically, it turns any ship you have into to look like this one.
It was like a Ferrari kit for your Minimoke or your Beetle.
But what I'm suspecting is it'll be available to let you buy in the universe potentially. I'm actually thinking that a part of one of the ships that it might unlock is this one as you play through. We'll have to wait and see. I could be completely wrong on that, but it would be interesting. It seems to be, as you play through the game, you are essentially building rep with the UEE, and it'll unlock ships that you have available to purchase, much like the Lightning, the F8 Lightning. I think it might be similar to this, but I could be absolutely wrong, but we'll see.
I have a feeling you might be right, mainly because the F8 Lightning is the mainstream fighter for the UEE, which means the F7A is slowly being discontinued and pushed out of the out of the Navy, and so they're going to be selling off the old surplus stock. That's my guess. Doesn't mean I'm right. No,
we'll find out.
Copy that.
Find out.
Archangel, this is Gary.
Definitely a lot of upgraded tech here over the last time we saw. I think the closest one to this, Algared, would be the Super Hornet trailer. Do you remember that one way back in the day when they had the what was it? It was a Super Hornet and it was following a particular ship, and I can't remember which one it was. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? And it's shooting the shit out of it. And that's, again, there's all these hallmarks you'll see all the way through the trailer where it flashes back. You'll remember things, or me and Algared remember things doing this so long, that go back all the way along, and it's just an update here, an update there, update there. And it's, again, if you haven't been here that whole time, it won't mean the same thing to you. But it's really cool how they've done this trailer, just all these subtle cues for how long you've been here. Right.
Well, if you look at the original trailer for Squadron 42, where the Vandal were coming over and attacking the carrier, and you look at the standard of the asteroids and the ships and the lighting then compared to now, and it is chalk and cheese. You're sitting there. I was sitting there just salivating over the way the lighting was hitting the ships and the shadows were falling and all of those little things, which for me was saying, wow, this tech has come a huge way.
There's a scene specifically, Algared, we'll go through it then, because there's that one with the cinematics. I think that's a good place to talk about it. But yeah, you are not wrong. All right, here we go.
Bravo Echo for immediate tasking.
Copy that. On our way.
Good music there too.
Dead right.
So this whole scene is an update of the one from the trailer where it shows, and this is just insane. Like, it's night and day between the old one and this whole next scene we're about to see with Gillian Anderson too. So we'll talk about it. I think we'll talk about afterwards, Algared. Do you want to talk about after it?
Yeah. So Second Fleet is also the fleet of which the Squadron 42 belongs to. So this is.
And it's a bit weird because normally you break up into different battle groups and they're all together in one in this shot as well. So they've obviously come together for something.
So it's either this. There was some with the Vega 2 attack, the attack that the Vandal did on Vega 2. There was a complaint in the law that Admiral Bishop had his fleet nearby and basically had not. Basically they were saying he was responsible for this because his fleet wasn't there to defend them. And what they'd done is that they were away and it was an ambush to smash the Vandal. And I'm wondering whether this is actually pre the Battle of Vega. And Admiral Bishop's pulled his fleet away. The Vandal have come in and hit Vega, and then he's come in and smacked the Vandal. And so we're seeing firsthand the actual result of.
Well, that leads credence because we know the player character survives the Battle of Vega. Yep. So I'm starting to think somehow you get separated from your captain, which is Gillian Anderson, and something happens to her, and then Bishop gives a shit because it's his daughter. And you get pulled in with Bishop because you're a survivor of that. And he wants information off you. We'll see.
The other thing, as you see in the shorts, is Bishop at Vega after the battle. And that's something we saw in shorts early on.
All right.
Also, what we see here. So, yeah.
Do you know what the naming conventions for javelins are?
I can't recall.
Yeah, because all the ships have different conventions. So this is a gauntlet. I do know the Bengals are based off cats, and I think there's one for a few of them. So you'll have to go through them and figure them out. But yeah, gauntlet makes it sound like it's some kind of armor or weapon. But we'll see.
What you really want to do is talk to Jail. Jail is the guy who tends to do a lot of knowing the naming conventions. Paul's probably got a better idea as well because that's what he does. But I used to know, but I've forgotten.
That's all good. Right, so this first little bit that's here, I think is a bit awkward. I think they should have actually labelled what they're trying to show here, which is obviously character creation for those who've seen the panels. But yeah.
But I think even in terms of the game, it's trying to also get you.
But a couple of hours ago, proximity
feeling
sensors
for
on
the
other side.
characters and feeling for the different crew and that. But again, you're seeing character creation. You're seeing the variation of characters you could have.
Side of the jump got twigged. Word is it might be that clan we've been battling with. I guess that last fight didn't scare them
off quite like we all hoped it would. Honestly, we've been out here so long, I don't know what to
pull for anymore. I just wanted to let you know.
I'll write as soon as I can. Stay safe. Your loving son.
And I do believe that last character is our character.
Never gets old, does it?
Sir.
Eddies. I used to do the same thing when I was first coming up. Post up to the flight deck whenever I could to watch the launches. Have you seen the F-8s up close?
No, sir.
The thing's a beast. Nimble, too.
12 maneuvering thrusters and 3 mains. It sure sounds like it. Sir.
Captain McLaren, to the bridge. Captain McLaren, to the bridge.
I saw you apply to the Flight Academy again.
Yes, sir.
Keep your head up. Took me a couple times before I got in.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so massive update. So this was really shown off a lot in the last time we kind of got the vertical slice, wasn't it, Algared? And a lot of this scene was same thing with the whole fleet thing, and you'll see homages to the vertical slice all the way through this trailer, and that trailer is now over 5 years old. So yeah, I don't know what to say there. It's just it's vastly improved. I will say Space Tomato did a really good video where it actually shows he actually has 2 browsers open. He has scenes side by side. So I will give a tip of the hat to a fella in front if you do want to see a side by side comparison and just how much it's improved. But there is a scene later on in this video, actually multiple scenes that show you how they've upgraded as well. So yeah, anything you want to add there, Algared?
My memory is we start on the Idris, so this was quite nice to see. You're actually starting on the Javelin, and it made sense of some of those scenes about wanting to join the Navy and all the rest of it. And so yeah, it was nice. And the graphics are just so much updated and better than what we saw in the earlier one and now. So.
That's what a lot of people that reacted to the video were saying is like, how many 4090s am I going to need to be able to play this thing? Because the graphics just look so good. But with the performance games we're getting, again, look how well the game's kind of running now. Like, most people are getting around 60 frames on an older card. Combine that with the DirectX 12 and Vulkan improvements, I don't think it's, and we're getting double the performance from that. Yes, it might take a step back with the lighting, and also them they're even building their own version of essentially frame generation to help older cards. So I think they're really going out of the way to try and suck as much out of every graphics card as possible. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it's going to run better than people expect. All right. There was people. Sorry, I have to stop here. Right, there were people that thought this was the game.
Yeah,
they didn't realize until Chris came up. Oh, you can go to Earth. Like, it was real funny. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought that was quite novel as well. But the transition there was so smooth that they didn't realize that this was not the game scene.
Yeah,
and I think that speaks for the graphics of what we've just been looking at, that the switch was so smooth and seamless that they assumed that was part of a game, and it was like, wow.
Welcome to Cloud Imperium Games Manchester Studio. I'm Chris Roberts, and I'm pleased to announce we have just passed a major milestone. Squadron 42 is now feature complete and has entered its polish phase. To celebrate this milestone, we've gathered some of our core leadership together to share what this means.
As Chris says,
So this studio, I don't think we've ever seen this before, Algared, unless I'm mistaken. This new Manchester one, they've never like we've seen Discolandia walk around in it, but we've never seen people in it, have we?
Paul seeing it with staff filling it up.
That's about it.
I think we may have seen stills on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, photos, but not film footage. No.
moved into the polish phase of Squadron 42, which means extra emphasis on ensuring things feel fun. This means focusing on...
So, a couple of things I want to state here. Really laggy. Again, this is what polishing phase is all about. I can't say a single person that didn't react that didn't say this looks laggy as shit. But that's why, again, clear optimization. And I think the other reason I deliberately stopped here is obviously the tick miner, definitely in the game. And they look really good to me. Well, what you can very briefly see of them.
Yeah, and I saw people say, oh, a spider thing, new ship. No, not a new ship, sorry. It's just an the old Grey Cat Cinders miner.
One of the oldest art assets, if you look around. It's been around since pre-Hangar. It's that old. So again, for those of us that have been around a long time, new.
For old backers, it's something that, it's a bit like the Zeus. Everyone wants it. They keep saying no.
Which is why Algared and I said the land miner should have been Grey Cat. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right, here we go.
Small and large elements of the game, such as dialing in combat encounters, but also looking at the feel of how you control your character or vehicle and making sure it's immersive as possible. We've paid extra attention to how your character reacts when in their ship, so that you...
So one of the little problems I had here was I hate how, like, a lot of the targeting stuff is... I don't know if it's good or bad, you tell me what you think, Algared, but like, what we're used to in game with all the glowy parts that go around the ship, they've just made them simple colors. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it definitely makes it look older, not newer. But maybe that's a part of it. They want these ships to look older, like, because I know where we are now is pre Squadron 42. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Algared? Just having the plain color markers.
I'm not sure. One of the things I just thought they were trying to show here was, just the combat aspect, but also as you're flying around, you're actually seeing the lighting, all those aspects of lighting come in. So you've got even though you're in a shaded out area, you've still got light coming off and hitting that ship.
Okay.
Feel like an actual pilot, whether that's firing your weapons, taking hits, or punching the afterburners to get to cover. Ship AI has also seen huge improvements, with closer engagement distances and more varied behaviors. And with our new precision targeting mode, the action has never been as close. With the aim now on polish, we've organized the project.
And this was this was the first scene where I went, holy shit. Just the textures are at another level. The quality of them is really high res. You've got little bat creatures flying. So, you know, those bods that I was talking about, they're probably the same thing in this game. They got little bats flying above. You can even see the atmospheric things that you'll see in later scenes up in the air. So we can tell that we're on the same planet as that. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And obviously boats confirmed, but yeah, it's just all those pieces of tech for years and years and years that we've seen all come together. And this is the first scene that I just mouth open type thing. Anyway, you were going to say? One
of the things I did like with the that combat scene previously was the ship you were targeting was outlined in red.
Yep.
As you were targeting, so it helped clean up the HUD a little. So one of the things I did used to dislike was the HUD would get so cluttered you couldn't see what you were doing. And
so that's a part of that zoom in thing, Algared. Do you remember how they were zooming in? I don't know if you've seen that in the thing, but you can zoom in and paint things now. So obviously with the smaller ship, it paints the entire ship. But yeah, that is cool. Nice. It is cool though.
And even even that idea of zooming in and specifically targeting a weapon or a component is not new. That's something they've talked about. Oh,
they did. It was. You can still do it in game right now, but it's not quite done the same. You can sub-target components, and that's always been a thing for years and years and years. So yeah. All right.
Project into self-sufficient strike teams, so we can focus on individual areas.
because they've talked about boats in the past, and this
Yeah.
is the first time we've actually seen boats. So
Yeah. And that's how we knew water tech were going to be a part of it, but water tech was new this year as well. So, yeah.
To deliver the best experience.
Get out of sight. The cutlass is gonna spot you.
Mark Hamill, obviously.
This allows us to bring all disciplines together with a unified.
So nice vines here. Like we haven't seen a lot of regrowth or plants and stuff and worn vegetation. We know it was there, and we know that they want to show that aging over time, but this is the first time we've seen it in kind of more in-engine. There's not really a lot of it. I think the only one I can think of right now is Ghost Hollow, and it doesn't really have quite as much as some of the other stuff you'll see in this, because obviously they're working a lot more on Squadron 42.
Vision of enhancing the gameplay by seamlessly blending it with polished visuals, final cinematic performances, and our ever-improving technology.
You didn't see the boat, kid. You're good to keep going.
Just realized I'm talking, you can't hear me. My bad. Massive down, Magrid. I wonder how much gameplay is in that. And there's several scenes throughout this game where they show you something, and I go, wow, what's going to be in there? And this is one of them. Like, what is in the dam? Like, you're not going to make a whole dam and not put something around it. So, yeah.
And you know that there's something there because A, your character's trying to get to that location, but B, you've also just had the cutlass fly over and go in.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a base behind there and a landing pad or something. So
And more than likely, being in a boat essentially going upriver, you know you've got to go through the dam because there's nowhere else to go when it's a dam. It's obviously trickles down rivers, so yeah, logical. All right.
We're also dialing in gameplay features, such as the ship flight model for both atmosphere and space, which covers master modes, control surfaces, and our gold standard HUD and MFDs.
Now, I don't know if you noticed here, some of those bridges, they almost look like monorails or trains. So that train tech from Microtech and Hurston and all those other places may also be in Squadron 42 as well. Just want to point that out real quick.
the other thing you noticed as they were flying that ship is he started to do blackout as well. So we're also seeing that. You've also seen that nicely working and coming in. So
I'll talk here about the physics puzzles. That really shows how the multi-tool has just made some puzzles that are absolutely nuts. Like I started thinking of that scene from one of the what's the one with Bruce Willis, the Die Hard, you know, where the water puzzle with the bomb. That's why I started thinking of this. So you can have different weights on puzzles and stuff, and I don't think we've quite seen that in a game before, where you can change the weight of a container. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I just found that really interesting. So yeah.
Our interaction system for both the world and your character have also seen additional
I thought
improvement.
with that, as he was putting the fuel in or changing the composition of a fuel, but we're actually getting the right mix to make a big bad boom.
Could be that too. The point is the tech is there to do it in different ways, and I really like that. So again, as you said, it might be one way in one puzzle and one way in another. It's got some really interesting things that are just not in other games.
Allowing us to hone and craft environmental puzzles unique to each location, while allowing us to tell the story of the world around you.
Yeah, see how you can fill and drain? I just thought it was based on weight or amount. It could just be you've got to fill it up to make it heavier. Could go everywhere.
Is an essential piece of equipment
and even
for every
one,
pilot that integrates
stuff
all
into a crane to bring it down so that you can then get up.
Yeah. And again, like I know people, like a lot of people joked about the advanced rope tech, but like it's physics based. It's not faked rope tech. So you can even see the way the ropes move, and it's going to be hard until you actually see one in a spiral on the floor and they like pick it up. Until they see that, like it's going to be unlike rope we've ever seen before. And you can just tell when this thing drops down, look at the edge of the rope and notice how it kind of like curls around on itself. It's one step above rope you've ever seen before. And I know that I wish they'd showed it off better because people were really making fun of this. But anyway.
Attachments into a single handheld device.
Sorry?
It's a bit like clothing tech, the way that the materials hang and flow, and even layers of clothing fit and sit. So
I do wish they had shown that off more too, because that's not really so much in the trailer, especially the layering. But yeah, anyway.
And allows us to create really interesting challenges, including.
So just watch here on the left-hand side that if I can move my mouse, just this one here as it hits the ground.
Physics-based puzzles using our updated rope tech.
Unidentified vessels.
So it's gonna curl around. You can tell. There's just so many different pieces of that rope. It's nuts.
UEE Navy. Power down your ships and stand by for processing.
There you go. F off the coil's ass.
God damn it.
Our scanning, targeting, and marker system has also seen an overhaul, allowing us to highlight only the essential information that you need.
Massively cleaned up hard Algared. I think you'd have to kind of agree.
yeah, and that's one of the things I liked as well. The HUD was so clean, and
essentially you're getting 2 MFDs, aren't you? That are on your visor rather than the 4, so it's just decluttered everything. Yeah.
Such as key objectives, mission targets, and high-level scan information, while keeping your overall view as clean as possible.
Damn skank! Take him off me! No!
Tactical FPS combat and stealth, which has seen a suite of
and this
improvements.
is nice as well. Even the change of looting and the way you do it, it's a lot cleaner as well, isn't it?
They've definitely seen us struggling with how quick we can pick stuff up. So this is vastly improved, and I really like it. But still, it leaves you vulnerable while you're doing it. It's faster, but still vulnerable, and I really like that.
But it also enables you to quickly see where your slots are, and all of that type of stuff is just really nicely done. And
all right.
From improved looting, weapon feel and balance, realistic scopes, and smoother locomotion, alongside our new and improved.
So yeah, you can see the scenes here are a lot more detailed than we have in game right now. Look at all the foliage and stuff. Like, that's just way more dense than what we normally see. So yeah.
Improved FPS
and
radar.
This was another wow moment, like where they put what we've seen in the previous panel. And we're now seeing that in game. We saw ships destroying terrain. Now we're in FPS, and we're seeing, the area I'm hiding behind is getting destroyed. That's like, mind blowing.
So I'm kind of interested here. We're about to see destruction. I'm kind of interested to know exactly what is destructible and what is not. Like, can I shoot the corner of a box that's cargo when it gets destroyed, or is it only very specific things? So that they haven't really shown. Like, they've shown buildings and they've shown this concrete wall in front of us, but they haven't gone into how detailed that's going to be. And I think that's going to be a really big question, because this is either going to be the most detailed destruction thing we've ever seen, or it's going to be less. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so if it's only that concrete slab that are getting destroyed and not the box beside it, whoopie-doo.
Yeah,
but
again,
all of that stuff.
Again, if it's also depends on the material it's made of, because if the box is metal, fair enough. But you'd at least want it to get like a ting or maybe a bit of a dent on it or something like that. And it's really how far they want to take that. And again, it's still impressive it's got destruction at all, because that's not something they talked about until now. So yeah.
Scanner that provides you an.
So you remember I was talking about I was worried about how clunky the gun is. Just watch this.
Overview of the battlefield, but at the cost of ramping up your own emissions.
So there's so much smoke there and things, it's really hard to see what you're targeting, and that's my biggest concern. It's just there's so much kickbacks from the shots that you're taking, and it is realism, right? I'll give you, there's got a realism factor, but there's also the fun and actual shooting factor, and it needs a bit of work in my opinion. But I'll let it play and you work it out for yourselves.
We've also seen the introduction.
That goes in with what I was saying in terms of the polishing. We're dialing up. We're trying to make it as fun as possible and as smooth as possible. And that moment, I imagine I haven't dialed this in and haven't got it down to that nitty gritty of what it'll be like. And
that's why I'm concerned. But I'm just highlighting it because it definitely needs work.
Of our maelstrom-powered destructible environment, which adds a layer of dynamism to the experience. See,
for example, they just blew up a barrel there, But all if I go back 10 seconds, hold on. So just take
ramping
note.
up your own emissions. We've also seen the introduction of our Maelstrom-powered destructible environment,
I could be wrong here. Yeah, I think I am wrong.
which adds a layer of dynamism to the experience.
So it actually did break the crates and stuff beside there. So it does break other items in the area, not just the walls. So that's one of the things I wanted to look at. So hopefully it's everything. We'll have to wait and see.
Alongside our improved AI that can now have hundreds of combinations of traits that allow us to create unique and challenging combat.
That AI part, Algared, cannot be underestimated, can it? Because those behaviors are both AI on foot, AI in ships, AI that will eventually be on our ships, all that type of thing. So it all cross-pollinates. And again, having the personalities that cross each other, instead of having to code every single one bespokely, you just get a pool of more realistic people, and it's going to put AI hopefully on another level.
The other thing to note here is have a look at the destructible block you're behind. You've actually got where some of the bullets have actually gone straight through, and you've got, so to the left of our screen, you've actually got a bullet hole that's been created.
No, that was
shot.
No, that was here before. That actually, the block,
Sure?
yeah, the block actually starts with that. It's one of. I can go back if you want, but yeah, it actually starts with that.
Oh man, here I was thinking,
well,
if you look,
if you look at over at the wall over here, see how it's got the two holes in it? It's exactly the same. It's all good.
I'm now shattered now.
Yeah, but one thing I will point out is the scanner. It essentially gives you like a bit of a wall hack, so you can also see the skeleton, the health of the people you're shooting, and things like that. So you can see when they've got broken bones and stuff as well. You also notice it picks up the cutlass in the area. So there is a futuristic level to this game, which is kind of cool.
The one thing I did like is, and it's about to come up, is when he throws his grenade, you actually see the NPCs actually react to that and actually try to run for cover.
How many other games they just stand there and do nothing? Yeah.
Counters that really push your tactical awareness and skill.
So the thing is, like, I was talking about how you couldn't see certain things. I'm going to be scanning all the time, just so I can see their scan through the fire if it stays this way. So I don't know. We'll see. So see here, he's getting shot at, but he's behind the box. This is the kind of thing where I was questioning, like, is it everything? But maybe this is metal, so maybe it's a bit more bulletproof.
And you'd expect different materials to have different levels of cover as well.
Different properties, yeah. I do have to address... Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, don't know if you noticed that, but the run and slide that he just did.
And that's what I was about to talk about. Some people are really concerned about the slide going to PvP in Star Citizen, but again, it's a single-player game and a multiplayer game. They can take it out, or they can even give law reasons to why, like maybe the military's got special sliding boots. I don't know. It'll be whether the AI starts sliding, then it creates law reasons. But there's no reason this has to specifically go into Star Citizen. There can be differences. One of the ones you see is they use military things for Squadron 42 and non-military or civilian things.
If the sliding ends up giving you bunny hop, then I hope they don't bring it across.
Yeah.
But if it's like you can only slide so often.
So it was the changing in height elevation people were complaining about to me, like going in the up and down. So it just makes it so much harder to shoot someone, and they would deliberately do it. But also, if you know how sliding works in game, you can't keep that momentum. So really, you just lose that. Yes, they dodge you once, but then they lose all their momentum, so they have to start it up. So it just means if you follow them, you know exactly where they're going to stand up. So I could see some people's concerns, but I don't think it's super worrying. But again, give it some time. We'll see where it lands.
But that's the whole argument that people do in PvP against bunny hopping. People bunny hop, and what's the idea of bunny hopping? It's making it hard to hit.
It won't have bunny hopping. Bunny hopping's really been taken out. They've changed how they do that over the last 10 years. So yeah, I don't think that's a concern. It's more about the change in elevation because you can just drop and dodge bullets. But also, it looks like the sliding uses stamina, so it's not going to be this unlimited thing where you can just keep doing it over and over and over.
Yeah, and that was the point I was kind of making as well. It's that if it's limited and you can only do it so often, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, so as Algared said, I don't even think they get anyone with a grenade, do they, Algared?
I think they get that guy. I know.
No, he gets shot. He gets shot. Well, maybe he explodes. I don't know. But like one grenade, one kill is not very good.
They all run. The two guys who were still there run away from it, and everyone, and as they're running, they get shot in the back. But yeah.
And see what I mean about the reloads? They're very detailed, but they're just a little bit long compared to some other games. So some people are not going to like that, but I don't have a problem with it because I play Hunt Showdown. But yeah, some people will.
If it's more realistic,
really
and
was
it's giving you that time frame, then like, suck it up.
One thing I will say that like the gunplay is very dynamic where you move around the boxes. Like it doesn't seem really clunky like other games. So it's definitely, they've worked a lot on how when you bring it up, when you raise it, when it's too close and all that type of thing.
Yep.
So yeah.
It is very nice, and this is even it's a clunkiness, as you're saying, in terms of the FPS and all the rest of it. It's still, I still find that very smooth. You know, it's not.
I think for me this is my biggest concern. Like there's just a little clunkiness, needs a bit of polish. I could be completely wrong. Again, looking and feeling are two very different things. But we'll have to wait and see. I am curious to know if you can actually res them there, so notice with the logo as well. Because can you bring them back and then get information out them or something like that? That might be an option as well. We'll have to wait and see. So last time I saw this was in the vertical slice, the cutting tool. This has changed completely. Like these were little knobs that you would basically cut and something fall off, and now it's just this line you kind of draw around. I like how it's the line and draw around, but I kind of question how thick the damn thing is. It's quite thick, so it's been made really simple to use. What about you, Algared? There's no real challenge to that, is there? Because it's just so thick. It's not that complicated. What are your thoughts on that? Just the multi-tool cutting.
I'm thinking one way to get the multi-tool gun, being able to cut through it. I don't think it doesn't bother me. What makes me sit? My thought is, why do I have to cut out the door? Why can't I just slice through the mesh?
Yeah, well, that's a part of the restriction of engines, unfortunately.
But then as you go through, you see all the lasers and all the other bits, and you see the puzzle in terms of, and even the locomotion of a character as it goes forward.
So yeah, I do question how simple that is. We'll have to wait and see.
We play and review the builds regularly and call out action points in each level from start to finish and where we need to improve the gameplay.
I do think the EVA here
is
really
incredibly
cool,
rewarding stage of development for me and the team,
improved up
as the ultimate vision of the game is realised, allowing us to craft an
character. You've got that crawling of a character that they showed again in the panels. And even that turning around. And being able to go on your back and see what's going on.
And you can see the shared blend in animations there, even when you're playing on the ground. It's the same animation, so they're reusing a lot of the same stuff just in different areas, which is very clever. All right.
Experience that we can be really proud of. One specific area
reminded me of the chompers in Galaxy Quest.
I'm excited to dive in is the feeling of the.
So they didn't show enough first-person animations like this. I would have liked to see more, but this is a very nice one. But and they did show it a few times with the wheels and stuff. We saw it a lot more in the FPS one, didn't we, Algared? Those first-person animations.
The interaction with the components and bits as you're puzzle solving or checking items or things that
player interacting with the world around them.
Patching you in.
As it's a core component of Squadron and really grounds the world that you inhabit. We've made sure that any interaction in the environment is physically represented by a character animation to keep you in the moment and fully immerse you in the experience that we've created. Ultimately, this is the final phase of gameplay iteration before we...
What are your thoughts on the updated warp? I kind of like it and I don't at the same time. Like it's I don't know, maybe I've got to see it for myself more up close, but it does feel like a tunnel, but it just doesn't travel the same because it's so transparent now.
I think I like the the old style or feel, but that could just be just because that's where we're at.
I think I just wanted a little bit less transparent, basically. I want to feel like I'm going through it more, because at the moment, there's a few times when you look at it, it looks like you're just flying towards a circle. I know they're trying to make you put you in a tunnel, and they want you to be able to see what's outside it, but I think it just needs a little bit more color to it. But, you know, again, seeing it on a video and seeing it on your screen is quite a different resolution.
It is only the quantum jump. So I did like the kind of the feel we get when we're in quantum. I'd like to see the outside of the ships as you're going through it, because that's always a nice look.
Yeah.
And I suppose this may also have implications for, you know, being able to have a heads up of when you've got an interdiction coming. But just tossing ideas out, I have no idea, but
you know, fully transition into optimization and stability on the road to release.
Again, atmospheric processor that we saw around the planet. This shot is just insane. Like, you can actually pick up little details as it flies in a little bit, and you can see individual wires and stuff and little bits of debris, and just that cloud cover is nuts. Like, and if we can literally, in the single player game, fly down through those clouds, people are going to lose their minds. It's going to just set up Star Citizen to a different level, this game. I really hope that's what it does.
And I can't see why you wouldn't. Like, unless the only constraint I could see is if your orders are specifically do not go down to the planet, otherwise you're going to be busted.
But again, if it's that same engine where you can just fly wherever you want, break your orders, do whatever you want, and or they give you that free, like you are leaving from here, you have to get to here, and the way you get there is all the way up to you. That's amazing game, because it just gives you so much exploration, and there are people that just go, I want to go down there and look at that, and it also adds to the replayability of the game, because the next time you go in, you can just go somewhere different path.
You see, that's part of the story of Squadron 42.
Yeah,
Squadron 42 is a squadron of misfits, basically. They're the black sheep. They are the squadron. They get told, do the job.
Yeah.
We're not going to ask you how, just do the job. You know, and that's how they build up their rep. And so you're part of Squadron 42, so you get given a job. How you do that job is going to ultimately be up to you. And so, which gives that idea for that playability of being able to solve the issues how you want, whether you're going to do it stealthily, guns blazing, or economically, or socially. So,
Agent Trejo, this is Colton. Come back.
And that's a better shot there, real quickly. You can obviously see how many oh god, I've forgotten it. The processes that do the terraforming. God, I can't butcher that.
All the terraforming stations all scattered over the planet surface.
Astrometric processes or some shit. God, I'm butchering it again. But anyway, you get my point.
Always trips me out to see terraforming stuff like this.
Platforms.
Web tried explaining how
atmospheric processes. That's what I was trying to say.
Processors work. Really shows how far we've come. Hell is she?
With the transition of Squadron to polish phase, we've had the opportunity to find additional moments within the existing narrative to add subtle interactions where appropriate. It's been tremendously exciting to play through these areas and find places to augment the mood, support gameplay, and further embellish our story and characters.
So yeah, man, I can't believe it. They said I've got to wait another 2 years before I can reapply. So that's why I figured I'd get a job trying in security, because that's, you know, I can get some hours flying in the cockpit and whatnot. Can't hurt, right?
I thought it was the guy, the character talking, or the NPC talking, was Morrow.
Yeah, same.
Part of the Morrow tour.
And
it sounds like, I wanted to be a pilot, but I didn't get in, so hey, I took this job instead. But it'll take me 2 years.
You will see parts of the Morrow tour come up again, though.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that as they come through. But yeah, multiple times that comes up as well. So it's harkening back to things that they haven't talked about in years.
And just seeing that character development, and even just as you're walking along here, you've got the little things like the posters, and just to add more to the scene and more to the situation. Yeah, it just gives more atmospherics to it, doesn't it?
Yep. And the branding as well. Like your branding in most games is an afterthought. Manufacturers is an afterthought. So just all these levels of detail is nuts.
We've also been capturing pickups for our lead female player character, as well as wildlines for our various enemies that you all will encounter throughout the game on both foot and in your cockpit. These consist of a
I know
range of
here they talk about doing the pickup lines for the extras,
Mm.
but they also this year they had John Rhys Davies actually back in their studio
Mm.
doing lines, doing
Yeah.
catch-up lines. So it's not just actors doing the lines for the NPCs in the background, but they've also had the main characters coming in and doing catch-up lines and just to flesh out and build up stuff. So
and reactions that you as the player can trigger, which has been the culmination of efforts by the gameplay and AI
I must be getting old. All
This
the actors
means
look young, look like children.
that you're going to have to tangle.
So those guys too, special ops, I think, but we'll see.
With some very smart
So this ship I actually do want to talk about. I'll talk about it in a sec.
and reactive bad guys to complete your mission.
So I had many people asking me what ship this was. And what it is if you go back to 2017, they showed it off a sizzle reel. And if you think about it from a lore perspective, if you're out in a pirate place and your ship gets damaged, so at some point this cutlass was damaged, how do you fix it? You just grab whatever engine or whatever you can to fix it, because you can't go back to Terra or to a lawful system, because they will just arrest you. So a lot of their ships are mishmashed. Different engines. As you can see, they're not standard Cutlass engines. So essentially, they take ships and mash them together because they can get them working again.
It's a jalopy.
Yeah. But this does appear in the sizzle reel from 2017 that was released December 2017.
Yep. Along with there was also a
Mustang,
an Aurora, which was really
no, there wasn't an Aurora. It was just a Mustang and a Cutlass. The Aurora was in the leaked video.
Okay.
Yep. But your point stands clear, Algared. They've mashed ships together. Not to correct you so much, but yeah.
At the heart of this immersive adventure, you'll find cutting-edge cinematic storytelling, thoughtfully crafted to fully immerse you.
Just in the background there, you can obviously see, what's that station? I don't know the name of the station, but that's one of the stations that appears in Squadron 42. It's a recon station, isn't it, Algared? You go there for a mission.
The communication station.
That's the one. Yeah.
The big, yeah.
There is a name.
One of the major scenes. I can't remember the name of it.
So there's a mission you'll be going to on that station with a big radar dish.
Into your story.
And it opens like a flower petal.
We fight today.
Right, straight off the bat, updated Bishop's speech. It's another speech, but not the same one, is it, Algared? When the Bishop's speech came out, the very next year, was saying, I want to see an updated version of it. And it's been, oh God, it must be 7 or 8 years since that.
This is the first time we've seen this speech. And I get the picture, because in the panels before, they showed Bishop arriving on Vega. And you get the impression he's going to do a speech there. So you've got he does a speech in the Senate, he does a speech on Vega, he does a speech here to the crew. But oh man, I get Gary Oldman. He's like an absolute Acevedo Station is what that place is called. Thank you, Access on Access 96 on YouTube.
Yep. All right.
So in 40 years from now, when you're surrounded by everything...
One last thing I'll say is some of these characters you can clearly tell are further along than others, and some do need work, and I'll kind of point a few of those out to you as we go through, because Gary Oldman is obviously one of the ones that are much further along.
Yep.
And everyone you hold dear, and they ask, what did you do in the Battle of Vega? You can look them in the eye and say, I held the line. Men and women of the Second Fleet, I am proud to stand with you today. Good luck. Bishop out.
Nice speech.
So he's further along as well. Some are, so there's Mark Strong, some of them are not, and I'll point those out as we go through.
Any word from the recon team?
Not yet.
Let's get into position.
I just noticed how it this turns off here, it almost looks like the end of a cinematic. Like, just take note.
And I get the feeling like that scene is pre the Battle of Vega that we saw in, what, 2942 or whatever it was. And this is, you see Bishop's fleet leaving high atmosphere orbit and disappearing. And right at the beginning, we had the character saying, oh, we had some pips on the other side of the jump point. And we know that the Vandal came through the jump point, attacked Vega. So I kind of, my feeling is that this is right at the beginning of the Battle of Vega. And then we're going to pick up our position and role in the ship. So this might be, you can imagine our character starts off wanting to join and become a pilot. The Battle of Vega happens, he becomes the pilot and then joins the ship. So that, not having read the script or seen the script, that's how I, just seeing this is how I think it's going to go.
So as I was saying, take note, it looks like the end of a cinematic.
Yeah.
Throughout the polish phase, our team is taking every opportunity to push things.
So he doesn't look quite as far along. He doesn't have the different tones in his skin as well. So I think he was called in for wild lines, as you said, Algared. I think he's got a little bit more work to be done on him.
Yep.
And that's John Rhys Davies, obviously.
To the
Or
next
as
level.
lots of people say, Gimli.
I think Mark Hamill might need a little bit more work. I could be unsure there, but like, see how he just looks a little bit flat compared to Mark Strong and Gary Oldman. He just doesn't have the quite same tones.
Yep.
But obviously he's a much more seen character. He's probably going to get more work than almost any of them.
But when they did that, I don't know whether they do it in this or whether it was in the panel where they showed the previous and now, you could actually see there was a significant difference in Mark Hamill's character as well.
Yeah.
So
Tell me you're expecting company.
This is not good.
The Cine team is focused on finalizing edit lock on all of our big action as well as all smaller character sequences.
I could have pulled this off of the Galactopedia.
As Algared was saying, example right here.
Yeah, probably, but I think...
Oh, this one blows my mind.
I've forgotten her name. It just popped out of my head. No. Oh, God damn, what is her
I
name?
think there's solar mass calculation.
But she's from the Vertical Slice, and I've just butchered her name. Do you remember what it is, Algared? It's she's in. So you know how you've got the advocacy dually in Stanton. She's the advocacy agent for Odin. So she's essentially the police of Odin, or the sheriff. God, I can't remember her name to save my life at the moment.
Just look at that change from the hairstyle and everything else.
Yeah.
It was like,
Night and
holy
day.
heck! And it pulled in the stuff we'd seen in the panel where they were talking here and people going, oh, so what? You know, big deal. What's the difference? That to me was it. I was like, oh.
It's a 5-year difference, though. I do want to point that out.
Yeah, probably, but I think...
So that was 5 years ago,
I think there's solar
and that's now. So yeah, it's absolutely huge.
mass
Someone will be telling me in chat what that is. Algared, if you get a name, let me know.
calculations are wrong, though.
Helena Tom.
This is ridiculous.
How so?
We are now able to adjust
Trejo.
That's it, Trejo. Yep.
our shot composition to final cameras thanks to recent...
Yeah, so there's a really good side-by-side comparison. Apparently, the pirate guy used to be a long-haired Yahoo, and now he's got a mohawk, so yeah, which is interesting.
crafted space vistas and level art being content complete now.
It'd be nice to know how much of a shitstorm we're flying into.
More like a hellstorm, Blue.
So one thing I'm actually curious about, Algared, is people on Kickstarter got an RSI prototype suit. I'm actually, and it's blue. I'm actually wondering if it's that. Because again, it's 10 years before Star Citizen. Is that the suit? So you essentially get the suit from Squadron 42 as a thing. We'll see in time.
One you ain't gonna fly out of.
Shut up. Now, I hadn't seen another ship that wasn't trying to...
So here's another character. I forget this gentleman's name. I do know he appeared in Boardwalk Empire, the TV show. He was the one guy with the one eye and a sniper, but he's just not as far along as the others. Again, that the skin tones are not there, but we'll see.
Kill me in days, let alone a hauler, let alone a Jean.
See how you look at Mark Strong and he's got red parts on his skin and white parts on his skin, and he's got like facial growth and stuff like that. You go back to this other guy.
So you can...
And it's just not at the same level. It's just
and even his facial expressions are flat.
Yeah, so it just needs a little, again, part of the polishing pass, bring it up to snuff.
Imagine my surprise.
Detailed lighting.
Now listen to what he says here. Listen to what the character says, not the person talking.
Passes can be done on hero sequences so we can show our cast and convey their emotions in the best light possible.
Oh wait, I missed that. Hang on, I have to go back. So he actually...
Another ship that wasn't trying to kill me in days, let alone a hauler, let alone a Jean.
So he said, let alone a hoarder, let alone a Jean, right? So a Zion, as Aussies would call it, but a Jean. And that comes to bear later.
So you can imagine my surprise.
Detailed lighting passes can be done on hero sequences so we can show our cast and convey their emotions in the best light possible. And we're making sure our cinematics are triggering as fluid as we can craft them so they form a coherent concerto with the rest of the player's narrative experience.
Mr. Wexler, this is Lieutenant Commander Colton.
Oh, Commander, hey, Julian Wexler.
Best name ever, Julian. You know, can't deny him there. But this is Ben Mendelsohn, who was Commissioner Rennick, I think it was, in Rogue One. He's actually Australian as well. I think he's the only Aussie actor that I'm aware of that's in this. But anyway,
I'm the field manager. He's a bad guy.
Sorry?
I understand it. I do believe Julian Wexler is not a nice character.
All the best Australians are bad guys. Did you know that, Algared? Anyway.
This little operation.
No, I didn't.
Welcome aboard the Archon. What brings the Navy to this little corner of the universe?
So he obviously is not as far along as well.
What you got you flying with?
God, I always butcher this guy's name, but he was Davos in Game of Thrones. And
Arona Metro at the back there.
Arona Metro, and she was in several movies. She was in a lot of the vampire movies. God, I can't remember what they're called now, but I'm sure people in chat will let you know, and we'll as we go along. But yeah, this guy's Liam something. This guy's name, I can't remember his name.
Liam Cunningham.
Liam Cunningham, that's the one.
Lieutenant Commander Colton. He's one of.
He's further along. You can see he's got the colours in his face, much like Mark Strong did.
Our best.
And his beard looks really good as well.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yep.
Us will share. This is the most rewarding chapter of development, which allows us to truly.
So yeah, I think she might be further along as well. Like, see how she's got those red blemishes and stuff, but again, she's got some weird lighting there behind her, so it does make it a little bit harder to tell. But her hair is damn amazing.
Experience the visceral and oftentimes emotional moments.
Another really good one, because this person appeared in the Morrow tour. She's your engineer, so this is just an updated one of that, and night and day, as you're about to see.
That our narrative provides.
How did you handle it after Vega?
Like, blood, sweat, and tears system is just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Well, that's what I'd be calling it. But yeah, that's just nuts. And you know, it's going to allow them to convey emotion. You know, when someone's really injured. Think about Morrow in the Vertical Slice tour, Algared, where she was, you know, tied up, and she had blood coming down her face then. So you can see, even when you get in fisticuffs, your own character and the character you're fighting will happen as well. And even with the knives, when you stab people in the neck, as you'll see a little later on, the same thing. So we can now actually have realistic wounds when they appear on the surface, which and I'm actually interested to see how far that goes. Can I shoot you in your clothing and the blood kind of pulls through your clothing and runs down your clothes? It could technically go there, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, not that Australians are evil, but that's the type of thing that Execute wonders about.
Right.
So, what I like about this is that also that callback to the character having been at Vega, and so that first cutscene's going to be pre-Vega.
Yeah.
And now you've got you as a pilot, and you've got your engineer saying, "I can't cope." How did you cope after Vega? And so you've got this tie back to that drawing into the history and the lore. And
I will also point out, this does look like they're in Wexler's office, so that's the same chair that Wexler was sitting in, as you can tell. So it looks like this might be after you've ousted him or something like that. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm not sure I handled anything. It helps to remember that stuff like this is supposed to hurt.
So someone she cares about or something has happened, and again, Wexler's out of there.
I've never been good at dealing with problems I can't fix.
Well, this is one that you don't have to do alone.
That's good to know.
For the animation teams, polish phase means refining the social aspects of Squadron 42 that occur between the various missions and getting the behaviors implemented across all of its chapters.
So night and day difference between the Morrow Tour and here. It's just absolutely nuts how far the lighting and this engine has come.
Even just the NPCs working on the ships, as we're going to see.
Animations is a really good one.
Yeah.
If you take note where he's picking up a pipe and he puts it into the back of the Gladius, and just the way the pipe moves and all it's seamless. And there is a few little niggly ones. I'll point out where the shotgun scene comes on. There's a bug there as well. But yeah, other than that, again, just polishing shit.
Here we're dialing in the hangar to make it as immersive and
And yet even that
believable
shotgun scene was quite...
We'll talk about it when we get to it.
an experience as possible.
Right, so the air shield there, so that's Savaran air shield tech. So eventually on the side of the Prowler where you jump through, it'll probably have that effect as you go through it as well. And PUV, obviously, that every capital ship has one of those.
Let's do this. I have to switch out some of the interchange on the hangar deck.
So yeah, just that animation I was talking about there.
We're getting a weird airflow.
It's all those little things of them going through the ship and checking things over, and even as he comes around the front, you even see the guy go and check the main gun. Just those little things that just make it feel more immersive.
Lots of little details like the hand trolley here. I know he's putting the stairs up, but that would be the same tech they use for hand trolleys as well. Remember the grabby hands, Algared, too, and the width of things for their hands and stuff like that would all come into play in this stuff. Like so much stuff in this one scene that they don't talk about again.
Anyway, I'm off.
Little wild
For
lines
example,
too.
we're launching off a space carrier, but we still ground the feel in real-world actions, refueling, repairing, and inspecting, and making sure that your next flight mission is a success. This means we're looking out for pops, hiccups, or awkward transitions, and ensuring that everything flows and looks like all the great mocap performances we've captured.
Let's ready some extra ice packs out of storage. Whenever gunners are on full rotation, you can always count on at least one of them getting hurt.
We also have you covered in everyday life. The medical staff work diligently for their patients, whether they're players or crew.
And all these animations are kind of really important because of the social aspect of the game. That is like literally a third of the game. So it's got that whole Idris has to feel like a living, breathing world, and you can stun them on random things one session that you won't stumble on another. Go ahead.
That whole relationship with the crew. You don't want to feel, they really want you to feel you're part of a crew, and they want the crew to mean something to you.
Yep.
And so all those social interactions are really key. And that's one of the things I was saying about the armory. The characters feel more real. It might be clunky, but yeah.
Can we talk about when that's on? Because otherwise I'm not going to have anything to talk about. All right. I do want to talk about this scene, though, because I did talk to SA during the week, and one of the things he pointed out when that scene is on back in the Morrow Tour was it didn't make any sense how they were launched off because there was no kind of launch system. But one thing I want you to take note of is at the top of the screen, it clearly looks like there's a tractor beam holding the ship. So that's how they've counted for it in this game. You're held with a tractor beam and kind of launched with a tractor beam, or, you know, you turn up the thrusters really high and then the tractor beam just lets you go and you fly out. So it's actually got a proper launch system this time around.
We really want you to feel part of an authentic crew, an important part of the UEE Navy in an enormous universe of people going about their everyday lives.
Wonderful IK there with the buttons. It's fully tactile.
Let's go ahead and clear for takeoff. Ground crew, prep bay for takeoff.
I saw people commenting that where you had to press F, they were saying, that shows they're doing it for a PC.
Yeah, yes.
Not a console.
Yeah, I think it was Asmongold that said that actually, yeah.
Hangar, ready for launch. Takeoff approved, Baron 2. You have the ball.
So take note of the tractor beam that kind of picks you up. Right there, top center of screen. That big light.
ready and hold on as you're launched off the deck of the carrier.
Baron 2, you are cleared for launch. Have a safe flight, Baron 2.
The coil, where most of, I guess, man, there's several scenes that go around the coil, but that's basically what happened to the star and the planets of the Odin system, yeah, Algared?
I do believe that's the case, yep.
We want you to not only decide how you play the game, but to feel as if the people you interact.
All right, Algared, how about it?
Yeah, just the way the character interaction is. And it even says that, you know, they want the characters to feel real. And this is just one little scene where you feel that. The handling of a gun might feel clunky and weird, but you can see there's that real element to try and make the NPCs feel real. And that,
so yeah, they do. But the thing I want to talk about in this scene is just watch when he puts the shotgun down, how seamless it is, but there's just an ever so slight shudder just before your character picks it up.
Yep.
And that's the type of things they want to try and fix, where it's talking about looking at little judders and stuff like that. And it's damn near some of the best I've ever seen. Just a half split of it just goes like just the tiniest little flick. Yeah, I'll point it
from just an asset that's there to something you can pick up and you can.
Well, no,
see
it's the switching between characters, because it's assigned to one character and then it's assigned to the other, and it's just not quite in exactly the right place. And I'll point it out when it happens. It's such a unique little thing, but it's those type of things that they're going to be trying to fix.
Interact with are in that world with you.
I would have never thought a shotgun could be so pretty.
Yeah, blink and you'll miss it. Get ready.
R97 is sleek as
It's
hell.
just before your character picks it up.
Like a lot of other weapons in Gemini's arsenal, it has a higher rate of fire
Right
than
there.
most guns of its type.
I'll do it again, because you blink and you miss it.
Damn, this R97 is sleek as hell. Like a lot of other weapons in Gemini's arsenal, it has a higher rate of fire than most guns of its
Right, just as your character's hand hits it, it goes like that.
Yeah.
Just ever so slightly. And they're the type of things they're going to be trying to fix. But these animations, some of the best I've ever seen. Like, watch this.
It's tight.
That's every gun in the game can do that shit. More what do you call this? Transversal puzzles.
We're working to support a feel of authenticity through world traversals, running.
So I'm getting a little bit of a Half-Life vibe in the first-person shooter stuff, Algared. I don't know if you're getting that. You know, the puzzles and shooting, and then, you know, you get a bit of
1980s, 1990s sci-fi video games.
Yep.
Jumping and climbing.
Now, I don't know if you picked up on this, Algared. That's a Starfarer door, the one that leads into the cockpit. So this is, again, why the Starfarer hasn't been fixed, is it's a part of Squadron 42.
Interactions with objects and the environment.
And anyone knows the Starfarer can, you can see up there, that is clearly, you know, you can see the escape pods there and the door. Now this would be a part of that armory, wouldn't it, Algared? The shooting range. It's much updated.
Looks like the armory shooting range where you're able to practice your weapons, and
because that was a lot narrower last time, wasn't it? Now it's shorter but wider. So it's definitely.
I even like the way you got the holographic figures to.
Well, we saw that if you lean back to... Remember the one where they had that alien ball thing fly through and the character got shot and it fell over dead and it kind of like merged into the dead body? A little bit from Prometheus. You can see it's essentially the same tech, just holograms, or red instead of blue.
Solid weapon gameplay and enemy reactions. As well as...
Right, weapon malfunctions here.
Combat realities, such as weapon malfunctions.
So does that mean if you fire too fast, you can cause it to stuff up? So you actually have to learn how each weapon works. I'll be really interested to see if that follows through, because that'd be awesome in Star Citizen. If you fire a gun too fast, or it's got a, you know, inherently it's really simple to use, so you can fire it, but it just limits the fire rate. But if you're knowledgeable enough and know not to fire it too fast in another weapon, it'll jam. So you can kind of get these different levels of weapons, like one for beginners, medium, and advanced, if you get my point. I wonder if that's where they're going with this, but we'll see.
It'd be nice if I do, because it'd be at a time with the way ship flight used to, the idea of ship flight.
Yeah.
And I know people hated the old helicopter flight mode.
Mm.
But with that, if you knew how your ship's thrusters worked and which ship it was, generally you didn't have as much problem as if you just hopped in a ship and said, I want to fly. Oh, crap, why can't I control this ship? Because you didn't know how your thrusters were working.
And again, it does give you that beginner, medium, and advanced type of gameplay. So certain ships are going to, again, it gives something complex for the pilots to do.
Or in close encounters of the more lethal kind.
So this is a little dodgy here. There's not, it doesn't really, like, again, I think there needs, that what I was talking about with the blood, sweat, and tears tech, I think there needs to be a bit of blood there. Now, I know they're probably not going for gore, but, like, it's literally just, like, going in and nothing's happening, and it's just this, again, when you've got so much detail, it breaks that immersion.
Unfortunately, you are right.
So you can see right there, it's literally going through his neck and out the other side.
And out the outside, and there's no blood at all.
Yeah, so it'd be really good if they could have wounds, and again, they might be worried about it putting the rating up to an M rating or something like that. But again, it's just immersion breaking again. But again, you can go to some really cool details, especially if it goes through skin.
It's a concern that we can have, a fight like that where you stab someone in the neck, but it's okay because there's no blood.
And that just...
The second you put blood on, it goes up to an M rating.
It's kind of ludicrous in a way. And I think, to be honest, I think this game's kind of been pitched a bit more adult, as in, like, if you look at the people that have been backing it all the way along, it seems to be the older demographic. So I think we can handle an M rating, personally. Well, and when I say M rating, that's... Here in Australia, we have M and M+, or MA. So we're talking Australian ratings here, so apologies if you're from another place and that doesn't quite translate. So I think it's 15+. That would cover it, wouldn't it, Algared? Yeah, 15+.
I think so.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt in the morning.
This is another one of those scenes. Unbelievably awesome. Really well textured. Look at the water. Look at the little minuscule ripples. Just the dirtiness of the entire level is just amazing. It just...
And that answers the question to everyone who's in Star Citizen at the moment. Can I go in the water and not die? Yes.
Yep. Though I don't think you'd want to swim through this, Algared. Leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Only if you drink it.
As we continue to focus on the quality experience, we've been working closely with our art teams, and it's been exciting to see their environments come to life alongside us.
While animation and design have been populating the locations, polish phase for my teams means making huge advancements in the quality of our characters and environments.
Again, back to the vertical slice, where the captain, played by the guy he's from Game of Thrones, talking to him, and he's a giant hologram, and that was a part of the what was it called? Render tech, Algared? What was it called? Render texture tech, or whatever it was called. I think is what it was called. So yeah,
something like that.
Yep. And that also, that hologram does like leads into the maps and stuff like that, and he shows you a path that you're meant to go on the vertical slice. So yeah, and that's in that room. What's that room? The one where they get the briefing room. Yeah, the briefing room. That's the one. Getting ready for your flights before a mission.
We've established our standard with recognisable characters like Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, and Gary Oldman, and we're now applying this to the rest of the cast and identifying any remaining tech requirements that need to be closed out.
As we kind of said before, they're updating their characters more. Yeah.
The story of
Right, so this is where it starts to get interesting. So I had so many... Level Cap, for an example, said that this was a Vandal ship. It's not. It's a Zion ship. In fact, it's probably the same Zion ship that we see a little later with the cargo boxes around it. And I think there's... Yeah. Algared, what would you say? This looks clearly Zion to me, not Vandal.
I would say it's not Vandal. But...
Yeah. And the big giveaway for me is this console.
Squadron 42
in
takes
the middle.
you through a variety of diverse...
But yeah, it's definitely updated. And there's a couple of shots in here that we'll talk about some interesting stuff as we go through.
Locations of varying scale.
It's not skeletal enough to be a Vandal, in my opinion.
And it's damaged. And it's a damaged Zion ship, so yeah.
And styles. We shared...
See the floor there? See all the marks on the floor? That is not Vandal. That is Zion. Again, think about the outside of the Banu Defender and how it's like that, carved and gold-like. It's the same floor here. It's all ornate. You don't get ornate with Vanduul.
Glimpses of several environments before.
Again, the floating tech and the little triangles, like you see on the Zion Scout, the tail of the Zion Scout. You get all those little triangles. Same thing there on the console. Just absolutely breathtaking, that shot though. By the way, the last one and this one again.
And there's still plenty out there for you to discover.
See all the little details, Algared? The little wires and stuff, like just crazy. And the wear and tear, obviously.
One of the main challenges the art team has had to face.
Algared, tell us about this scene. Do you remember this one?
This looks like Special Agent Tejo's Avenger.
What was her name? God, it wasn't Dooley. It's the I forgot her name.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Tejo. I'd have to scroll up and read it. But
Yeah,
the Special Agent for Odin System.
Yeah, the same one was going
His
on.
name I always forget.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, in the vertical slice, you actually fly into this big, I guess, piece of machinery, and her ship is in there, and you walked in there, and there's a tablet, and you get information off it, and then it leads you to where she is, and you go rescue her.
And this was one of the ones where we actually first saw, because her ship is a stalker. It's got one that got prisoner pods in it, but it's also got cargo spot. So
that was the reworked Avenger, wasn't it? The first time we saw the reworked Avenger. I forgot about that.
First time we saw the reworked Avenger, and it was the one that made us go, does that mean that you're going to be able to choose the number of pods you actually put in the Avenger?
Yeah.
We're still waiting.
Yeah.
Trejo, thank you. Or Trejo.
Thank you, Zarek. Yeah.
Yep. I'll keep forgetting. I'm hopeless with names.
Yeah.
Ask my students.
And I can't remember the moon, but I know the moon's kind of like yellow, and it's got all this like, it had way too much satellite junk as the rings around the planet, and they said we're going to turn that down a bit. But that's what this machinery is, a part of that space junk essentially. And I remember I think it started with G, but it's a very yellow moon. That's a moon around one of the planets in the Odin system.
During the development of Squadron 42 is ensuring the visuals are complementary to the narrative of the script. The mood and feeling of a space.
Another scene that is just like, that almost looks like it's a bit like Spider, Algared, where it's all just jerry-rigged together. It's just nuts. And the other thing I'll say is this ship, it appears in several scenes. We didn't talk about it earlier, but it's a ship we've never seen before. Whether it's one of those spacer junker ships or something, but it's just something unique because we've never seen it before. I think it might be exclusive to Squadron 42. I don't think it's something we're going to see, unfortunately, just because of its jagged nature. But Algared, do you think that's a ship we might see down the track, or more likely exclusive?
I think eventually. Well, I know they talked about there are some ships that are exclusive to Squadron 42.
True.
And some ships that are exclusive to NPCs.
Yep.
I think if this is a ship that's exclusive to NPCs, we'll still see it in at some point in the PU. But whether we'll be able to own it or capture it or use it, that's another thing.
A little bit of weapon customization there. You can obviously see that he's got a silencer on the pistol this time around, so that is something we know. Like all the attachments that we have in Star System does transfer over to this as well. So yeah.
Is just as important to us as it is making sure we hit the visual quality that CIG has become known for.
Oh, good. We can't hack it from this side. Graves, we got a locked door. Can you give us access?
I got a lot of Titanfall vibes on this one, Algared. Do you remember Titanfall? Like, I don't know why, but this particular scene reminded me of the factory in Titanfall 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, this, because they call up Graves, who is John Rhys Davies' character, this makes me feel we're on the Shubin Station, the big 5-mile long mining platform.
I'd agree with that. It does, and again, it looks like a mining processing facility of some description. The other thing I'd like to point out is you can't get through this door from what they're saying, but take note of the sideways barrels that are essentially coming.
No, I'm afraid that's a negative, Steve.
I'm wondering if that is because look where it stops.
I would have to add you
I think that's where you're going, just FYI, but we'll see.
to our system to give you override permissions, and there's a lot involved in that. It won't happen quickly. Okay, we'll figure something out.
It's not that we couldn't blast our way through or that. We want to get in secretly without them.
So this is Yeah, so that's
Everything you see
Zion
during the
ship
campaign.
and the pods off the Zion ship. And I'm wondering, Algared, I kind of secretly hope this might become the Raelian, but it could be just another hauler all over again. We do know the Raelian's being worked on after the Santaki Eye, but I get the feeling that this is a completely different alien ship, like a bigger one that we might see down the road. Or we might not see it until they actually go into Zion space and it becomes a part of the Zion expansion pack, if that is where we end up going, depending on the success of the game.
And I do know that the Zion are in Squadron 42. So
It's been heavily inspired.
The three factions were basically there's the humans, the Zion, and the Vandal are the three I've heard.
Yeah.
Are the factions in Squadron.
Yeah, and probably in episode 2 or 3 we might actually end up hooking up with the Banu too at some point. So yeah, but it is that point of space where Odin is. It does kind of intersect between those three species. Yep. So yeah, but
and then we've also got the pirates. So that's actually 4 factions and kind
that's
of
true.
The Navy,
that's true.
pirate, Zion, and but yeah,
so,
it does look a bit like the Raelian. But is it the Raelian or is it something else?
Well, if you remember way back with the leak, Algared, that thing was huge. It was this giant ship, and we've never seen anything quite like it. And it has definitely changed since the leak drastically. Yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what we saw before was the inside of this.
The classics of 70s and 80s sci-fi.
I think this is also inside a Zion ship, or it might be inside a Vandal. We do know, I think it's more likely to be the Zion, Algared, because this is anti-gravity stuff, and we know that the Zion are very anti-gravity. I don't know, what's your thoughts on that?
I'll be honest, I hadn't even thought about it.
Okay.
I just thought it's one of the scenes. It's just showing us a different tech.
Mm-hmm.
But just looking at the sides, you've got the triangular pillars.
Yep.
Out there on the right side, you've got that kind of crane that you can see.
But with a modern twist, we want everything you see to feel like it has a soul, its own personality.
Thing. Yep, I'd go. If I had to say which race it was, I'd say Xi'an.
Yeah, and again, the anti-gravity going right up and around the roof. If you ever saw the leak, they literally had paths like that go up and around the roof. So I think why they've put this in is basically that they have said there's anti-gravity stuff in Squadron 42, and this scene is obviously a breakup of the gameplay. You're going to get a different sort of puzzles instantly when you have anti-gravity stuff. So again, being able to walk up the walls and all that is just going to take all the gameplay you had and invert it on its head. You know, whether you get it again or multiple times with the Zion, we'll have to wait and see. So yeah.
Personality and tells of a history long before you arrived.
Again, the vertical slice. Holy shit, has this changed, Algared? Like it's gone from like a 5 to a 10 type of thing in 5 years. Wouldn't you say?
Indeed, it's like when you look at a lot of the stuff that we saw in the vertical slice compared to now, it is just mind blowing. It really is staggering. Just seeing the development of the game as it's gone forward.
Yeah, lightning and effects and all that has just really gone up quite a bit. And we know that this is a different scene because in the other slice it was you and Colton. That appears to be a retaliator, so it seems to be you're going to be going through the coil quite a few times.
And this time you've got a couple of people with you rather than just a single ship.
Crafting interesting flight spaces and their connecting tissue has been one of the more unique challenges we've needed to overcome for Squadron. Developing our VDB tech to blend seamlessly between tighter traversal spaces and into wider space vistas and planets has proved incredibly difficult but rewarding, ensuring that Squadron flows seamlessly from one chapter to the next, without interruption. Creating a diverse array of locations is essential to us. Our environments need to work from a variety of scales. We need to pay close attention to detail, whether we're working in a dirty engineering vent, or navigating the debris of a dying star, wondering what may be around that next corner, or even...
So a little few frame rate issues here, but obviously they'll get fixed in the polish pass.
Who may live there? How would they have survived? And what state of mind?
Want to be around this area.
Oh yeah, this place looks a bit scary. A little bit like Spider 2, reconstructed stuff.
I was thinking you could see why the salvagers want to be around here. You know, the scrappers, the people ripping stuff off and selling those wires and.
Well, again, we saw a reclaimer and a starfarer around the coil in that vertical slice back in the day.
Yeah, but this is our rightful salvage. We've claimed this site.
We even saw this bridge as well in the vertical slice, where you go around and talk to one of the people on the deck, but they don't show that this time, but they still show the same scene.
Yes, I've been speaking with engineering, making money.
Night and day, though, if you go look at the old stuff. The screens actually do stuff this time where they didn't last time.
We've worked closely with our social teams in delivering a cohesive social experience when you're taking some downtime from our refined flight
at you as he was walking by.
and FPS missions, or even missions of the more eerie
Freelancer, why it's never been touched, because it's obviously in the game and they didn't want to rework it, so...
kind. We'll be introducing new space stations on a massive scale.
So, Algared, I do want to talk about this really quickly. I think there might be a ship here that we might get down the road. You correct me if I'm wrong, but notice the 4 engines here on that. So I'm just talking here. Those 4 engines.
We'll be introducing new space stations on a massive scale, all brought
And
together
then notice
and
this.
designed to be as tangible as possible.
Comes around and shows you
So that's the same ship, right?
Function,
But
age,
notice the
and
top
try
of
to
it.
ensure there's a progression in our.
That looks like an oil tanker ship, aka the ship I've been telling you called the Nebula.
No, the one you call the Nebula.
Yeah,
we don't know what it's called.
No,
but yeah.
I did say I called it the Nebula. I called it the Nebula. I'm wondering if that is the really big gas collector. Now, I could be totally off the mark here and it's just a ship for Squadron 42, but I was just curious.
But even if it's a ship for Squadron 42, that is a large gas refinery collector, that's still filling in that triangle of ships for every category. It doesn't.
Yep.
Just because they've got a ship in a category doesn't mean we necessarily get it.
But yes, I put this back to you though. But what manufacturer is that? I can't pick it. It's just like a big box and it's got like a little thing on it. So I don't know. Consolidated Outland's the only one I can really think of that would kind of fall into that box shaped thing. But even then, they break outside that mold too. But yeah, I don't know who that is. If it is even.
I'd be trying to think of a company that does the refinery or does the mining or does the collection.
Yeah, it also just does look a little bit like cargo containers there, but they look like liquid-based cargo containers. So again, it's hard to tell from a few clips, but it's a big ship that we've never seen before. So again, it could just be bespoke and we never see it again. So yeah.
Someone said 100% Pioneer.
We'll see.
Style with each station.
You do see those engines again, and I'll point those out when we do. And also, I think this is heading up to see Trejo in that scene we saw them eating and stuff, because this appears to be a part of that Wexler's station. We'll see.
As you
and shopping and food and all that
game.
That we've seen in, you've seen in the space stations we have in game at the moment. This just seems to be an expanded version of that we're about to walk through. See, Chinese noodles and stuff.
Big Benny's, not Chinese.
Yeah. So things that we've slowly seen pop into into Star Citizen essentially has been used in this. It's that overflow. Engines of that ship I was talking about off on the left.
As you can see today, the teams are working incredibly hard.
And show you them.
Yeah, they will turn in a second.
Hard, ramping up the detail and quality to match the breadth of our vision for Squadron 42.
So I'll pause it just there. Yeah, I don't know what ship that is. What if it's the Jupiter Algared? I don't know. I'm just chucking it out there. It could be anything, couldn't it? You just don't know what it is.
My gut feeling is the Jupiter actually became the Hercules. I think as much as I'd like there to be a separate Crusader carrier.
It does appear like there might be a little door down here. I don't know if that, again, it's hard to tell with the video, but like if that's got internals, if it's got internals, I'd say we might see it in Star Citizen, but if it doesn't, then obviously it's just a skin, but we'll have to wait and see. But we haven't seen a big ship like that we've never known anything about for a long time. So yeah, it's just interesting. Again, me and Algared tend to focus a lot on ships, so yeah.
Yep. Yes, Eric, I have seen you say it's the same bridge as the Pioneer.
Oh,
Very
okay.
well be.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, again, we need more consolidated alien ships, don't we? So yeah.
It is, and it is a very big ship, and we do know the Pioneer is a very big ship.
All right.
Lillian, yes, Crusaders, Carrier-in-Law is called for Jupiter.
All right.
Now, I know you're all asking, when can I play it?
When can I play it?
When we have the locked release date, you will be the first to know. Now, we're in polishing phase on Squadron 42. You will start to see a lot more things coming to Star Citizen, as well as overall progress on the persistent universe. The polish phase can take some time.
Giant Retaliator there in the background, Algared. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yep. No,
which
I
is
didn't notice
nuts.
that.
Which is huge.
We have come this far, and we want to make sure Squadron 42 delivers on the promise of being this generation's wing commander. Now, even though there's only a few of us in this video, I'd like to extend a big thank you to all our staff around the globe who have been putting their heart and soul into bringing Squadron 42 to life. And I would like to thank everyone in the community for your patience and your support. To paraphrase Admiral Bishop, when people ask, what did you do in the development of Squadron 42? You can look them in the eye and say, I held the line.
It's a little cringe there because I instantly thought of answer the call, so I held the line, but no one answered the call. That was where my brain went straight away.
I answered the call and held the line. Like,
Yeah.
my response to that was, I am the line.
Yeah.
I'm proud to stand with you.
So Zarek says, just to be clear, he's not saying that it is the Pioneer, but he thinks it's Consolidated Outlandian. Look,
Yep.
My take on that
making
is
this game.
if it's a capital ship, and it's a Pioneer, and it's a Crusader ship, and it's Consolidated Outland, it would make, I think it, because we don't have a Pioneer, I could see it being the Pioneer or a Pioneer variant or something like that. And maybe that's where they go in terms of the Pioneer. We do know the Pioneer's gone into manufacturing rather than just base building, so...
All right, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Now, Jail actually posted a translation of this. He got it from CIG, and it's something like, I rise, I something, I aspire, or something. It's basically I something, I something, I something.
I came, I saw, I conquered. Basically, that type of line.
Akin to that, but it's like I rise. Yeah, I can't quite remember. I know I rise and I ascend is two of them, and I think the last one is I take. I just can't remember the order. It's like I rise, I ascend, I take, or something like that. But yeah, that's essentially what he says. Would have been nice too to see a little bit of Andy's circus, so to speak, because him and I can't remember the other guy's name, but there's two of them, two well-known actors that actually play these Vandal, and obviously Andy Serkis for Gollum and Planet of the Apes, really knows his stuff with creature and movement.
I think it's authentic soundtrack, or at least at one point. But yeah, they do look amazing. Soundtrack is on fire, to take Citizen Scott's indication.
All right, so that was really long. Hope you enjoyed that. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, ring the notification bell, and thank you to those that go the extra mile that you'll see the credits at the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that. This is probably way too long. What was it? An hour and 33 minutes from a 26-minute video. Yep, only Inforunners could do that. All right, I'll see you next time. He's been Algared.
He's been Execute. Whoop, he's been Execute. And we're out of here.